Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting tutorial on data analytics. Today, we'll walk through essential data cleaning techniques in Excel. We'll be using a messy data set and we will cover how to identify duplicates, trim extra spaces, fix capitalizations, and also format columns. And by the end of this video, you have a ready to use data set. Let's get started.
So let's begin. As you can see, we have a sales record data set and a whole lot of irregularities. You can see this column. Some of the columns are actually hidden. So we're going to work on that. But before we proceed, it's always important that you make a duplicate copy. You do not work on your original data. You always duplicate it for the reason of backup. So you don't end up deleting important columns or rows. So it's important you always have something to reference back to when you're doing your data cleaning or analysis. So we're going to duplicate this by holding Control and drag. So we're going to work on this particular sheet. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to align the columns and rows properly. So you want to come here, select the entire sheet, double click in between this column A and B, and also double click in between row, either row 1 or 2 or row 3 or 4, depending on your choice. So as you can see, it's properly aligned. I like to highlight my column headers any color of your choice. Before we got here, we duplicated the sheet and then we rearranged the columns and rows. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify duplicates. We all know that duplicates are details that appeared more than once. Now, before you go ahead and remove duplicates, it's important to ask this question. Are duplicate values allowed in this sheet? So if the answer is no, you go ahead, identify duplicates and remove them. If the answer is yes, you proceed to the next step of your data cleaning. So we are going to assume that the answer is no, and then we'll go to data, click on data, and click on this icon here, remove duplicates, and click OK. And it says 5 duplicate values found and removed. So what we now have is we have 40 unique values. The next thing we're going to do is to trim extra spaces. As you can see on column A, the customer name, we have a lot of extra spaces. You can see here is extra space here. And we also have an issue of capitalization. There are 2 ways to go about it. You can trim first, and then with the trim function in Excel, and then use the proper function in Excel to capitalize the first letter of each word. We are going to do the both steps. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim the extra spaces equal to trim, and we select this cell and then hit enter. As you can see, we've trimmed extra spaces. So to address the capitalization issue, as you can see here, we have uppercase, lowercase, and it's not really looking nice. It's not nice. So let's fix that using the proper function equal to proper open bracket, and then we select the cell B2 and hit enter, and we'll drag down. Wow, you can see that it is clean and nice. Now, this is actually a very long way to go about it. So what I will just do is I'll delete this too and show you a faster way. For me, I will just do proper open bracket and then trim. So what I'm telling Excel to do now is fix the capitalization for me. While you're doing that, trim the extra spaces. And remember, you have to close it with 2 brackets. Why? Because the trim function is on its own and the proper function is covering everything. So you hit enter, and as you can see, it has been fixed. So one thing I like to do is, when working with formulas, sometimes always remember to copy and paste value. So I'm going to copy this because this particular formula is referencing this cell. So at the end of the day, you might end up deleting columns that you no longer need. And if you forget to paste values as values, by the time you delete this cell, this particular one, it's going to be empty. So we'll copy and paste as values, right click and then paste as values. And we can actually delete this. Can delete this from here. All right. And also delete this space too. So the next thing we're going to clean is the order ID column. As you can see here, we have, let me just expand this a bit. We have alphabets before the order ID, but what we want to use is actually the numbers. So we're going to create another column, call it order underscore ID, and we're going to use the flash fill in Excel. So Excel is a very smart tool. So what we're going to do is basically type what we want, type the data we want from here into this cell. So we want the number, so we type 1000 and hit enter, and then press Ctrl E, and it's going to automatically pull out only the numbers from the other column. And then we can delete this as well. We're making progress. The next thing we're going to fix is the order date. Now, as you can see, when we try to look through, what we're going to see is just numbers. Now, there are so many ways to fix this, but let's try this easy way and see. Highlight this column, right click, format cells, and click on dates and select the particular date you want. There are a number of options there. And I'll just choose this and click OK. Oops. And it didn't work. So as a data analyst, it's important that we learn these basic and easy ways to clean our data for analysis. So what we're going to do is highlight that cell again, go to still on data, text to columns, and click on fixed width, next, and then select date. So if you look at this thing well, you can see 2023 and 04, that should be April and 14th day of April. So we're going to select it. We want to tell Excel that the first thing there is the year, the next thing there is the month, and then the day. And we click finish. And I'm very sure that, as you can see, it is very fine and good. So the next thing to do is to identify if there are any blank cells in the sheet. So Ctrl A to select the entire sheet and click here, go to special, and you're going to have a dialog box. There are a whole lot of things here, but we're going to select blanks and click OK. So for the blanks, we want to put NA. So I'm just going to type NA and hit Ctrl Enter. So what this does is all the blank cells will be filled with NA. You type NA and you hit Ctrl Enter. All right, there you have it. We've been able to turn this sheet looking like this to this.
Awesome work. In just a few steps, we transformed a messy dataset into a clean and structured one. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon for more data analytics tutorials. See you in the next one.